Hey, it's David with Beat Your Face Commander. Today I'm doing a review of the new Midnight Hunt Selesnya deck. Like, the primary focus of the deck is Coven. Basically, you get a benefit if you have 3 creatures with different powers on the board. I've gone ahead and picked out 5 cards from the deck that caught my attention as what I think will be extremely good in this precon as it is, or even upgraded. So, first one is an enchantment called Curse of Conformity. Enchant player, non-legendary creatures enchanted player controls have base power and toughness of 3 and 3 and lose all creature types. So, that's just the curse cards are interesting to me. I don't play a lot of curses, but considering what the alternate commander for this deck does, and having a card like Champion of Lambhold on the board, you could really do a lot of damage to a player if you curse them with that curse. So, next card up is Champion of Lambhold. It's a 1/1 for 2 forest and 1 generic. Creatures with power less than Champion of Lambhold's power can't block creatures you control, and whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Champion of Lambhold. So, obviously the way I would go with this deck, and with a lot of Selesnya decks that I built, is token generation. The more small token creatures you can create, the bigger Champion of Lambhold gets, and whenever creature enters the battlefield, or basically creatures of lower power than Champion Lambhold can't block. So, pump up the champion and then just swing all out. Next card up for card draw, you've got Lifecrafter's Bestiary. At the beginning of your upkeep, you scry 1, and then whenever you cast a creature spell, you can pay a forest to draw a card. It's a little bit less efficient than some other card draw engines out there, but considering it's precon, that's actually a pretty good effect. That's a pretty good card for it. That may not be a card I would keep if I were upgrading this deck, but for only 3 mana, and then, that scry 1 on each upkeep, I think it might be worth keeping in. The next card I have here is the Mono Legend Odric Master Tactician. He's a 3/4 with first strike. Whenever he and at least 3 other creatures attack, you choose which creatures block this combat and how those creatures block. So, I like to swing. I like turning cards sideways and doing a lot of damage. So, he's a really good inclusion for that style of play. Just, if you play tokens, the likelihood of having 3 or more creatures that are capable of attacking is pretty high. I think it's pretty good value for 2 planes and 2 generic. And then, so even though this is not the official commander for this deck, this is the alternate commander, Kyler, Sigardian Emissary, I think is a great card. I will probably build a deck around this card at some point. And it says, whenever another human enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Kyler, Sigardian Emissary. Other humans you control get +1/+1 for each counter on Kyler. So, he's a token commander. This is a token commander. The other token deck that I run is Chatterfang. So a couple of the staples from Chatterfang I would also put in here: Doubling Season, Parallel Lives. There's plenty of token generating cards in white and green. So, I love this card. In terms of power levels and creativity, this isn't in my mind a combo deck. This is just a big swingy deck, but a go wide strategy. But for my style of play, I think this would be a really fun commander to build around. Anyway, so those are the top 5 cards out of the new Midnight Hunt Innistrad Precon Selesnya deck. Like I said, I think they're interesting cards. The actual commander for this deck is Lenore Autumn Sovereign. It's got that Coven ability I was talking about. Beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 counter On up to one target creature you control. Then if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, draw a card. So, which isn't to say that she's not a good card too. I just, the way that I like to play, I think I would probably go with Kyler over her as my commander.